Hey guys, welcome to Hughes History. My name is Mr. Hughes and I need a haircut, but I don't care, I'm gonna do the teaching anyway. And we're ready to serve up some French and Indian War. That's right folks, taking a look at the 1754 to 1763 conflict between the British and the colonists and the French and some Indians. Exciting stuff. There you go guys, get ready because I can hear the learning coming. Go get the door, ding dong, it's here. Alright guys, let's look at causes of the French and Indian War. I always start in Europe. In the 1740s, King George II of England goes after the French and the Austrians. That war spills over across the Atlantic Ocean when the British capture what is today Nova Scotia. Once upon a time that was Louisbourg. Now we have in a sense a division. We have a conflict hitting North America. And we have the colonists of course aligned with the British. They are British citizens, I would say, right? And the Iroquois tribe of western New York. These two have favorable trade relations, and they start looking to expand their power westward. In the north, you have the French, and the French are connected with the Huron tribe. The Huron tribe is from the French trading days, going way back to Champlain. And by 1750, the French have moved into a fort, start building a fort in modern-day Pittsburgh. Desquines, spelled up on the board for you, because this is a fort that is being built really deeply into what we would consider British land. So in 1754, the British Crown orders Lieutenant George Washington. Heard that name before, didn't you? And they're like, go check out the fort, baby. So George takes like 150 guys. He, tromps across Pennsylvania. He gets to modern-day Pittsburgh where this Fort Desquines is being built. And the Native American tribes, the Huron tribes, and the French attack them. And they whoop them. They whoop them bad. And George all like, I'm out of here. In 1754, that is the first battle of the French and Indian War. Ding dong, the war is started. So the British begin to turn their troubles around when Prime Minister William Pitt takes over and reorganizes the British approach to the problem. Quite quickly, they take over Duquesne. They rename that Pittsburgh. That's where the name comes from, William Pitt. And in 1759, there's a huge battle called the Battle of Quebec, where the British kicked the French out, basically. The Battle of Montreal was the next year. Quite quickly, we end up with the Paris Peace Settlement of 1863, which is basically going to give North America to the British. The French end up with, like, Newfoundland. Yeah, great for them. But basically, that is the end of the French and Indian War. It is a British success story with a little asterisk at the end, because even though they won, you know what I'm going to say, they lost. Alright guys, 4 effects of the French and Indian War. One of them is the colonists are recognizing that the British aren't angels. Not only do the British mistreat the French when they take over that area, they kick the French out. Many of those French, which were called Acadians, end up coming to Louisiana. That's where you get the name Cajun from. But it's their treatment in terms of liberty in that area or that region that the colonists pay attention to. They're mad enough over the quartering. They had to quarter British soldiers during the French and Indian War. But when they see the British Crown take away trial by jury rights up in Canada, they're going to pay attention to that. And for the first time, they begin looking at the British, not so much as a protectorate, but really as a problem. The second big effect of the French and Indian War would really be the Native American resistance that came out of that. Not only do you have like Chief Pontiac who rained terror down on the British after the French and Indian War, but you have an American problem, a British colonial problem with the Red Sticks that's developing. Tecumseh, which is in different lectures, is going to spring forth from the French and Indian War. The British really were really cruel in how they treated the Native Americans in that uprising. This is where really you get the first instance of chemical warfare. The British wrapped towels or blankets in smallpox, and they were all like, you look cold. Ooh, that's terrible. I think that the third big effect is going to be the proclamation of 1863. The British made this proclamation following the war to halt British expansionism or colonial expansionism west of the Appalachians. And many of the colonists were like, what up with that? We all fought the war, and now you all like, we can't move west? I mean, the British are doing this for a couple reasons. They're doing it, one, because it's costly, and they don't want to have to defend our hides way out in the frontier. And I think the second reason is they want to keep us close to home. If we're on the coast, they can rein us in. They have control over us. They don't want to see us, in a sense, growing up and becoming our own nation. And the fourth big effect is going to be they want some momo. They begin to raise taxes because of all the money they spent in their eyes to defend us. So they're like, we're going to raise your taxes. Then we all like, no taxation without representation. You kind of can see both sides. So those are the four big effects. All right, so what's the big lesson, guys? I would say it's the conception of the Republic. I would say that for the first time, the colonists are beginning to see themselves as a separate entity from Great Britain. Even though it was a war to protect us, fought by Great Britain, we see for the first time that we have special powers, that we can unite, that we have our own interest, and that we don't want to be the pawn of Great Britain. So this is going to be the beginning on the road to revolution.